20 years, man. I mean, I changed my style quite a lot in 20 years. After the Grudge, I went on and did a couple more, and in my opinion, better and better sort of industrial rock experimental records, sort of ending with The Great Deceiver, which to this day I feel is kind of like the best that I've done. I'm really happy with that album. It kind of came and went because I had a strange kind of distribution deal. Didn't get a lot of promo. We made some fantastic videos for it. Shining Lamp of God, Demons Are Back, Guys Just Cracked. It's all out there, on YouTube and everything. And very proud of it. Kind of too bad that nobody really heard it. That happens. Then I sort of went back, man, to we reached a point, really, to be brutally honest, where the band, we kind of went like, oh God, we've been touring and working hard on this for so long. We're not really making any money. I mean, that was never the point in the beginning, but once you reach a certain age, you kind of have to realize, shit, I have bills. I had kids. I still have kids, of course. House, cars, all that stuff. And, you kind of take time off of work and you go out there and tour and you come back with nothing in your pocket. So eventually, the band just kind of dissolved. It was sort of like a mutual agreement, like, yeah, we can't really do this anymore. It just doesn't, we're loving the music and we love doing the shows and everything's great, but we always come back and we're broker than when we went out, It's the nature of the beast. You can't really, not everybody's going to be a winner. So, we just figured, okay, I guess we're not doing this anymore. So for a little while there, I was kind of contemplating, to be honest, like maybe I should just call it a day. I've done this for a long time. We did some cool stuff. We gave it a good shot. Good times, bad times, all that stuff. Ultimately, you kind of got to think about yourself and the people around you. And, when you can't bring home the money, you're no good. So yeah, for a while there, I was thinking, maybe this is it. Maybe I'll just focus on record collecting, which I always love doing that, and just kind of carry on with life. But of course, that only lasted about 3 or 4 months, and I just returned to making music, and the sort of catalyst for that was. This guy that was putting together this Cold Mint Industry, I think a 30th anniversary festival. He had kind of been chasing me down for a few months about, headlining one of the days. And I sort of turned it down every time. He kept increasing the offer. I kept turning it down because I wasn't really sure. I was a little like, well, I had been playing with the idea of starting with a clean slate, just doing something solo again, just getting rid of all the agents and the merch stuff. And the band members I never had problems with because they were kind of like on my side, they were just like me. But just starting all over, totally clean slate, no pressure, no nothing. And I had kind of been toying with the idea of maybe it would have been kind of fun to put the mask back on and, see how that feels. So eventually I relented, I think it was like the guy's 3rd or 4th offer and it was starting to look pretty good. And I was like, yeah, okay. I always knew that if I was going to do something, don't think about it too long because you might just chicken out. So I just figured, okay, I'm not going to contemplate this too deeply because I might just get cold feet. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. I committed, it was announced, and now Now I have to do it, which to me is always kind of like an exciting feeling, you know what I mean? So, I announced, I think this was 2017 or 2018, that I was going to do like an Era One type of show, back to the basics, and I was going to perform my second record. And at that point, I didn't even have, because when you're up there alone, you got to have some backing tracks and stuff like that. You can't do all of it at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was that it was kind of like I don't know. It was a bit of a gamble for me when I just said, okay, let's do it and just announce it. I had nothing. I think the show was like 5 months away or something like that, and I had literally nothing. I had to sit down and just create the show from scratch and just start re-recording all these tracks. to have, up there as backing tracks. And that's when I actually started to reinterpret the whole record, that second album of mine. And because as soon as I started laying down those old tracks again, I started hearing all these new melodies on top of everything. And my nature is in a way where if I get ideas, I have to try them. Otherwise I can't sleep at night. Like, what if that could have been the one that could have been the best thing ever, and I didn't try it, why? So I always have to do that. And it just ended up being like 50-50 new album, 50-50, re-recording of this old 1994 record. And that's how this sort of second, this sort of second reality of Mortiis kind of started, where I just went full circle, I guess, and got back into this whole sort of, today it's known as dungeon synth. It wasn't really what we called it back in the day, but I guess that's what it's known for now. So I got into that whole thing.
Say, which is, yeah. I mean, you are one of the true originators of that style.
That's what they say. I mean, I never claimed to be.
That's what they tell me.
That's what they tell me. And some people thought I was just going back into it for the money, which isn't strictly true. I mean, I got back into it because I actually found out that I didn't want to be without music. I tried not making music, like I said a few minutes ago. That didn't work. Because, at the end of the day, this is really the only thing I know how to properly do. To be that Mortiis guy. I'm not a great musician, so I can't sit here and say music is the only thing I know how to do good, because I don't think I'm a good musician, but I think I'm really good at being Mortiis, and Mortiis is kind of cool. So it's my identity, I don't think it would have worked for me to never go back to music. Maybe it would, but I tried for 3 or 4 months and it was weird. You know what I mean?
It would probably have always have been something that's in the back of your mind, bugging you if you didn't do it again.
Yeah,
I remember when we spoke. I two things I remember. Number one, you're very adamant about the fact that you were never going back to the quote unquote dungeon synth stuff. But also, you were really, really high, really excited on what you were doing with The Grudge, and rightfully so. Rewinding to that album, it obviously happened subsequent to our conversation. But were you surprised when that record got kind of pulled into the national? It's like the National Norwegian Archive, right? So that it's available for listening to the public for free.
Well, that was. I mean, Norway has a lot of these sort of government grants and funds, and and I don't even know the English words for it, but and one of those sort of things that they do is that they'll buy, I think, like 500 copies of an album and put it into like public libraries and other places, in the music sections there. And I don't know if they still do that because things have changed so much in the last 20 years. I mean, nothing's physical anymore, really, So I wouldn't be surprised if 90% of all libraries have closed down by now. And if you want to go out and get a book or something like that, you download it. You know what I mean?